A lot of the fun of Fort Wilderness is found right here in river country. It's a newfangled version of the old swimming hole. And Huck Finn never had it so good.
Imagine the old swimming hole updated with a few new twists and turns. That's river country in the Fort Wilderness Resort. River country is a newfangled version of the old swimming hole, where you can ride, slide, and splash into the water 40 different ways. All of the fun of river country is right here on the shores of Bay Lake, just minutes from wherever in the world you're staying.
Across the lake from Discovery Island is river country.
So there's like river country, which is this excellent old-fashioned swimming hole.
You know, kind of like where Huckleberry Finn used to hang out.
Drop in on river country. It's filled with slipping and sliding fun, the likes of which Huck Finn never could have dreamed up. River country is a good old-fashioned swimming hole. River country.
River country.
River country. River country.
River country. River country. Disney's River Country lets you kick off your shoes for an honest-to-goodness, all-American good time.
Now, it's been a while since I've talked about river country. You know, Walt Disney World's abandoned water park on the shores of Bay Lake. We've discussed the history before, and we've discussed what is sort of going to end up happening to it, but things have changed since then. The years and the CEOs have come and gone, but river country still remains on the minds of those Walt Disney World faithful. Those who remember the early days when you used to be able to swim and do water sports in the Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake. Yeah, they actually used to allow that. And while river country has achieved sort of this mythological status, I'm here to dispel some of those myths, bring you all through an updated, more complete history of the water park, what was there before river country, and what is going to end up going there after, potentially. What started off as an attached water park to the Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground quickly became a Disney urban legend and just landmark for Disney Parks fans because it's an abandoned water park. I mean, who wouldn't want to go there? And of course, over the years, some people did go there. Matt Sanswa, as you could see this footage playing, is his, and also Adam the Woo famously went there once a long time ago, and his visit was notable because 1, some of the lights were still on, and 2, the music was still playing, so that added to the whole creepy ambiance of it.
Dude, awesome.
But where do the urban legends come from exactly? Well, that, my friends, is the story of river country's closure. You see, the water park was actually attached to Bay Lake, the natural lake across from the Seven Seas Lagoon, the man-made body of water in front of the Magic Kingdom. For my Disneyland friends out there who have never been to Orlando, it's like you're trying to park hop to California Adventure, but instead of going through the turnstiles, you are now waist deep in water. That's the Seven Seas Lagoon. But if you choose to be like yours truly and rent a boat from the Polynesian or the Contemporary, you can go over a little water bridge into Bay Lake. And Bay Lake, this is where you find all the good stuff. Discovery Island, river country, and that's about it. Discovery Island, of course, being an abandoned animal sanctuary, sort of a precursor to Disney's Animal Kingdom in the middle of Bay Lake, now known on Apple Maps as Riles Island, which I guess was its original name before Disney changed it and then ended up changing it back. Now, river country was unique as a water park, being that it was Walt Disney World's first, and it used water filtered in from Bay Lake to fill its pool, which sounds like it would have been a great idea until you realize that things might be living in that lake. Things like Naegleria fowleri, which is not good for the human brain. This amoeba can enter your body through things like lake water and induce headache, fever, nausea, vomiting, stiff neck, confusion, hallucinations, seizures, and ultimately death. And sadly, in the year 1980, a young boy actually did pass away from contracting this amoeba after visiting river country. But don't believe the rumors, that was not the reason for the park's closure. It didn't close because of the brain-eating amoeba. If you look it up, actually, river country stayed open until 2001. The truth behind the water park's closing was a lot less interesting, and in the end, just came down to money. No, it wasn't the brain-eating amoeba that ended up destroying the water park. Instead, it was 2 other water parks.
Hello, I'm Eric Boardman, and welcome to Walt Disney Imagineering. Here, folks take flights of Disney fancy and turn them into 3-dimensional reality. Over here is a model of a new addition to Walt Disney World in Florida. It's called Typhoon Lagoon. Chris.
Hi, Eric.
What is Typhoon Lagoon?
Eric, it's 50 acres of fun. We believe it's the most incredible water park anybody's ever built. We have body slides. We have raft rides. We have Castaway Creek. We have Shark Reef. And the centerpiece of it all is our wave pool.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Okay, I am here at Blizzard Beach. Now, this place is incredible. It looks like a giant blizzard just swept through this whole area. But you know what? This is Disney, and I'm actually standing in the middle of a giant water park. If you'll come with me, we're going to go check this place out right now. You having a good time here?
A blast.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, yeah? Is the spring break crowd here, like, wild and crazy?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yes,
What is your favorite
great.
ride here?
Probably the Slush Gusher.
All right, what is your favorite ride here?
Shut up! Typhoon Lagoon opened in 1989 and Blizzard Beach in 1995, and by all means, they were bigger, better, and more fun versions of River Country, and they weren't attached to a lake, so I mean, bonus points for that. Throw in a couple of world-altering events in 2001, and you have yourself the perfect mix of things that reduce demand for River Country. And so it closed forever on November 20th of 2001, but unlike other Disney attractions like we would be familiar with today, where they are rethemed or straight up demolished, River Country was just left, exposed to the Central Florida elements, waiting for something to be done with the land. But years went by, nearly 20 years, and nothing really ever happened. Urban explorers would sometimes sneak in and get a few pieces of footage to show their friends and viewers on YouTube, and of course, a bunch of urban legends started spreading about how maybe it was haunted or there was something weird or creepy going on there with the brain-eating amoeba, but in all actuality, it was just a boring old abandoned water park. I say that like abandoned water parks are boring. They're very interesting. Like, who wouldn't just want to chill out here? I mean, yeah, there'd be a lot of bugs and, you know, the possibility of contracting something horrible, but, I mean, it looks cool. It wasn't until D23 Expo in the year of our Lord 2019 when the then head of Walt Disney Parks, Resorts, and Experiences, Bob Chapek, got up on stage and made this announcement.
Coming to Walt Disney World, we're also creating equally magic hotels and lodging. As we previously announced, Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge, would bring a whole new way to stay at Walt Disney World. And today, we're ready to share more details. This resort hotel and proposed Disney Vacation Club resort will be a classic country lodge reimagined. It draws its inspiration from the wonders of nature, filled through the art and artistry of Walt Disney and the creators and talented Imagineers and animators. You'll find special accommodations like A-frame houses and treehouse suites, with all the fixtures, furnishings, and artwork inspired by Disney nature-based stories. And along the bayous of Bay Lake, you'll find a perfect setting for a table service restaurant inspired by none other than Princess and the Frog.
So what do you say we go through, just real quick, everything that he just said? Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge, was going to take inspiration from all of the nature-focused Disney properties. I'm thinking mostly probably like Pocahontas, Princess and the Frog, obviously, and then things like maybe Brother Bear, maybe throwing a little bit of Brother Bear in there. And it was meant to be a DVC resort sort of near/attached to Fort Wilderness. And it would be built on, yes, the former site of River Country. But there was just one thing standing in Disney's way, one pesky little thing called the Tri-Circle D Ranch. See, Tri-Circle D Ranch was where they keep the horses that walk up and down Main Street USA. You know, the ones who pull the trolleys. They're really good boys and girls, and they need somewhere to relax and sleep, and that Tri-Circle D Ranch is exactly where they do it. The original Tri-Circle D Ranch was actually opened and operating before the rest of Walt Disney World Resort in 1971. But when Disney went ahead and okayed the plans for the Reflections Hotel, the old ranch was part of that development area, so they had to move it rather than just having a bunch of homeless horses wandering around the Walt Disney World Resort. So for phase 1 of the construction of Reflections, they tore down the old 1971 ranch and built a brand new state-of-the-art one that opened in 2020. Now, phase 1, build or tear down or relocate or all of the above Tri-Circle D Ranch, that's done. Complete, fully finished. Phase 2, build Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge. That's not quite. So, Disney did begin demolition of the old River Country site in March of 2019. Okay, so that seems pretty good. You get a lot of time between then and the pandemic to sort of clear the land, you know, get it ready. And you would be right, between March of 2019 and March of 2020, they actually got a lot done. Here's a before picture, and now here's an after picture. All in all, I'd say not too bad for just 1 year of work. Now the real fun begins, okay? Everything shuts down. And with the shutdown, Disney stops most, if not all, of their construction projects that they had already begun. Things like the renovation to the Haunted Mansion over at Disneyland, and all of the new things coming to World Celebration, Nature, and Discovery over at Epcot. There was either a very basic skeleton crew working on these things, just making sure to keep them up to date, you know, keep them from crumbling in the open Florida/California weather, or they were completely paused or shelved and left completely abandoned, like the Reflections site. It's abandoned? Huh, that's interesting. I could have sworn something was already abandoned there. So there are your pictures of the site from 2020, and now here are the pictures of the site today. Now looking at these, you can kind of tell that Disney has, it seems, almost given up on Reflections. There seems to be absolutely no work going on, and just like River Country before it, the construction site is becoming overrun with the native fauna. Now, Jake over at Bright Sun Films actually went there, you know, with his feet and visited the site and got a lot of really good up-close footage. And if you want to see a lot of that, more of it, head over to his channel. I'm going to have a card right up there in the corner. Serves as a very good video to watch after you're done watching this one. Okay, let's make that clear. But judging by these pictures, there's not a whole lot going on over at Reflections. Before and now coming out of the pandemic, Bob Chapek and the Walt Disney Company as a whole made a lot of cuts, specifically to the things that cost the most money to produce and keep running the parks. Things were either delayed, like Avengers Campus or Cosmic Rewind over at Epcot, or completely shelved/canceled, like the Avengers e-ticket and the Mary Poppins attraction. Even this beautiful plan for a new entrance to Tomorrowland and Disneyland, it just never ended up coming to fruition, and now we just have to wait for them to confirm that it's been canceled officially, because it just lives on in my dreams right now. But Reflections itself seems to be in this weird sort of limbo space. It's like as if they had begun construction on the Mary Poppins attraction, like all of the foundations and everything were poured, and then they just stopped. Work had begun on Reflections, but work had also begun on the new entrance plaza to Epcot, and they finished that. Although, looking at it now, I guess the entrance plaza to a theme park is probably more important than a DVC resort. But, I mean, the point still stands. Why haven't they touched Reflections? And even at this point, it's going to cost more money in clearing the wildlife again and refreshing what they had already started before the pandemic. So that's already so much money that Disney just washed down the drain because they didn't know what to do with Reflections. I think at this point, it's canceled. I don't think Disney's going to make any announcements of Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge, being revived anytime soon. I think that this area, like River Country before it, is doomed to be abandoned until someone else can come along with a cheaper or better idea. And then, to put even more of a cherry on top of this garbage sundae, Disney announced that a new DVC tower would be built at the Disneyland Hotel, but also at the Polynesian Village Resort. Now, looking at these two pictures, you can kind of see a couple of striking similarities. The materials and layout and just overall look to this new Polynesian DVC tower looks pretty close to what Reflections was going to be. Are they reusing the materials they had already ordered to build Reflections over on Bay Lake to build this new DVC tower over at the Seven Seas Lagoon? I don't know, it seems kind of conspiratorial, but I would believe it. So instead of building a brand new hotel from the ground up over by River Country, you instead demolish the Spirit of Aloha dinner show, add that on to an existing hotel. I mean, it's not the dumbest thing. It's actually pretty smart. But then, of course, you have all of the River Country fans like myself and Jake and Adam and Matt all going over to this area, just peeking over the fence, not jumping it, but just peeking over the fence, seeing what Disney's up to, because it's hallowed ground, folks. Let's be real. It's where River Country used to be. It's just like the People Mover track at Disneyland. It's just something abandoned that was there for so long, that has sort of cemented its own place in the Disney parks mythology. While I am an eternal optimist, you know, I hope for the rebuilding of the People Mover at Disneyland, I still do believe that Mary Poppins at Epcot and Avengers at California Adventure are going to happen someday, I fully believe Reflections is dead. The state of the construction site would need even more work done to it in order to get it back to where they were in early 2020. This area seems to be doomed to be abandoned in some way for the foreseeable future. The old Fort Wilderness Water Park just can't catch a break. And honestly, to sort of like wrap this video up, I think that the River Country site is essentially a microcosm of what is going on in Walt Disney Parks and Resorts these days. If you want a very quick and dirty rundown of what's been going on with the Disney parks for the past 3 years, look no further than Reflections. In such a small area of land, you can visit a brand new super fancy addition, the new Tricircle D Ranch, things in abandoned disrepair, like the old boat docks and the construction site itself, and things that just a few short years ago were there are now either walled off or changed completely. All of this standing alongside old, classic, time-worn Disney buildings that have been there since the beginning. The ground that River Country was built on seems to be hollowed, not just because it's sort of a pilgrimage site for vintage Disney fans, but because of what the area represents now. And that is enough of me preaching to the choir. I'm sure you all understand. I'm sure you all have your opinions on Reflection in River Country. Is it going to happen? I think it's gone. I don't think Reflections is going to happen at all. They would rather bulldoze that area completely again than start back up. But, you know, for all I know, they are going to announce something new coming to that area. Maybe the Persian Resort or the Asian Resort, Venetian Resort. All of those they were planning before the park opened in 1971, but they all eventually got scrapped. I don't know, I think a Venetian-themed resort would be really cool. More Italian food and scenery and music and maybe gondola rides? Okay, never mind. I'm sold. That's my new theory. So while we can't visit River Country today, we can't even visit the Reflections site today, we can rent a boat or walk out past Pioneer Hall and just look from a distance, make sure to keep your distance, don't trespass, obviously, and wonder what is going to end up happening to this cursed spot. Maybe Blackbeard himself, the original inhabitant of Discovery Island, placed a curse on that area of the Walt Disney World Resort, forever having its ground be barren and not home to any sort of attraction/commodities. That sounds like something Blackbeard would do. Trust me, that guy was a jerk. I know a pirate guy that just sort of like feeds me this info. But until Chapek or Damara or Disney as a whole make a statement on this area, we can only wonder what will end up happening to this former water park/hotel. Will it be changed? Will it be maybe even re-themed or redeveloped? Or will this little parcel of land on Bay Lake at Walt Disney World forever remain abandoned? Hello everybody and welcome to the end card for this very important video of River Country and what in the world is going on with Reflections. If my timing is correct, it might not be. You guys also got a video yesterday about Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain, that's right. Princess and the Frog Splash Mountain and River Country today. So good for you. 2 videos in 1 week. Hopefully the Splash Mountain one was good. Did you guys like it? Did you leave a like? Because like I'm checking your work here. And if you did like that video, make sure to like this one. And even if you didn't like that video, like this video. All right, just between us. Be sure to subscribe if you're new around here and want more content like this, just to keep up with it. And also a very, very, very big thank you to all of my supporters over at patreon.com/offhanddisney. They got early access to this video, probably before the Splash Mountain one came out. If you can tell by the way I'm talking, they haven't released the news for Splash Mountain yet, and I am waiting eagerly. And if you're a patron, you are waiting eagerly along with me because it hasn't dropped yet. Everybody, just $1 a month will get you access to most of the perks. I've talked it up enough. You guys know the drill. Also, be sure to follow me on my other social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I am at Offhand Disney on all of those 3 platforms. You can find me. I'm pretty easy to find. Got a new Foolish Mortals episode coming out, and that's gonna be a lot of fun with my good friend Disney Dan. He's apparently also gonna be at D23, which I am going to, so we're going to meet in person for the very first time, and we might actually be meeting up with you, all of you watching this video in person for the very first time. That's just a little teaser for those of you who stick around to the end card. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video, and I don't know what it's gonna be about. For the first time in a long time, I have no path. Goodbye.